Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Double K coming to you for Wrestle Rewind Episode 7. We are missing Tommy T tonight. He had a little medical procedure done, so he's on the shelf for this week. But with me, as always, we have Smokey Z. And filling in for Tommy T, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to steal a line. The man has come around. A Mann is joining us for the show tonight. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
So we've got a lot of things to talk about. So, let's just dive right in. Who watched NXT Takeover 25?
I did.
Yeah, I know, Smokey, you saw some of it.
Yeah, I saw some of it. I was out of town, so I didn't really get to watch it.
Okay, I tell you what, it is hands down the best product that WWE has going right now. I don't think it's even anywhere close.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's the AEW version in WWE. That's the closest they can get to the sports-like feel right now with their product. And TakeOver, it just never disappoints. It's one of those takeovers where it's like, can they get any better? And every time they always do.
Yeah, Tommy T, Smokey, and I were talking before you graced us with your presence this evening. And, there's never been a bad match on NXT TakeOver. Or really, I've never seen one on NXT, period. Yeah. Not even having to be at TakeOver.
I would have to agree. Never seen a bad match.
No. So I do have to admit, I did miss the pre-show. So Keith Lee versus Kona Reeves. Did you see that one?
I did not see the pre-show.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not see the pre-show.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. So Keith Lee ended up taking that match. Like I said, I didn't see it. None of us actually saw that match, so we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair. Again, I didn't see that, but Bianca Belair took the loss in this one.
And I was surprised that she lost. I did see a few clips from this match. I was surprised Bianca Belair lost. I think Mia Yim is a great prospect, and I think she's going to do well in the company. But I was still surprised that she took the win here. Yeah,
do you feel like because Bianca Belair has been in the title picture, she's been the main event for the women with Shayna Baszler at least once, maybe twice. Mm-hmm. This was kind of Mia Yim's coming out party announcing, hey, I'm here.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think, in retrospect, it is what Mia Yim needed, that solid competitor to defeat. So I'm excited to see what she does in the future.
All right, well, let's move on to the ones that we did see. All right? And it did not disappoint. We talk a lot on this show and all the shows that we do about setting a tone. The first match of the night is going to set the tone for what we're going to see. So we had Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong. Every single time I see Matt Riddle, it's insane. It really is. It's crazy. The guy is super athletic, super talented. You can say the same for Roderick Strong, but I'm going to use my favorite word on this one. This match was smash mouth. I was concerned in the beginning because it was a slow starting match, but damn, when it took off, it took off.
For sure. And Matt Riddle is a star. You can look at him and just get that vibe from him right off the bat. And he's another one of those. It's going to be fun to see his progression. I think they're going to do right by him and take it slow, the route. Because I think he should be in NXT for at least a year and a half, tops. But then again, I could see him fighting Brock Lesnar next year at WrestleMania. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
See, I think that right there is part of the problem. Most anybody that watches NXT can see that.
Mm-hmm. But that's a good problem to have.
But where I'm going is I feel like the people who should be watching NXT and thinking that are not.
Which is good. Because whereas I could see Matt Riddle facing Brock Lesnar next year, I don't want to see it. I want that to be a build because Brock isn't going anywhere. He's not going back to UFC, so he'll be here for however much longer his new contract is. So I build that. And Matt Riddle on Twitter, he always pokes at Brock Lesnar, always says that he's going to jump over to Raw, mess with him.
Yeah, well, he did recently poke a little bit at Bill Goldberg and got blocked.
True.
On social media.
So he's
only going to poke, but so far.
I did see that.
Don't poke Hall of Famers that are still relevant Hall of Famers, Matt. That's just
right.
Don't poke at really big dudes.
Slowly roll a little bit.
Well, poke at who you want as long as they're on your show, apparently. I just feel like if Matt Riddle or most any of these people that we're getting ready to talk about go to the main roster, they're going to get wasted.
Yeah, and I'm at the point, especially with Matt Riddle being one of the main ones, I want everyone in NXT right now to stay where they are.
Yeah.
I don't, because they're just going to be wasted right now.
Yep.
There's too much confusion on the main roster for anyone to go up there, because they're not going to, whether they are a Matt Riddle or a Roderick Strong or Adam Cole, they all need to stay where they are and just flourish
Well,
there.
they're not Vince McMahon type guys. They don't look
Right.
like Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns
Riddle
or
could
Hulk
be.
Hogan.
I think.
Or Bobby Lashley.
I don't feel like Matt Riddle, and I'm glad we're talking about it because I was thinking this the entire time I was watching this match. I was like, God, if this guy goes to the main roster, he's screwed. I mean, like, we'll never see this.
His flip-flop thing at the
the
beginning, the second Vince sees that, I think he's just going to be a joke in Vince's eyes.
Well, yeah, I can see him in
Where
a
I
gimmick
love
match
that.
against
It's different.
flipping No Way Jose.
Yeah.
It's almost like anytime you see an NXT star go to the main roster, you're like, oh, well, they're not going to be there very long.
Yeah. I mean, name the top NXT star doing super well.
Seth Rollins.
And
Like,
Roman
absolutely
Reigns.
count. There's one. There's
And
two.
Finn Balor. Who'd you say?
Roman Reigns.
Oh,
Finn,
yeah.
I can't say Finn's doing super
well. Not
well.
super well, but at least he's an Intercontinental Champion. At least he's doing
No.
something.
Only NXT
He's not a joke.
superstars that have actually gone and done really well other than Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are the women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah,
than
your
Asuka.
women's revolution, yes, it was started by Natty and the Bellas and those ladies, but the actual revolution came out of NXT.
For sure.
It didn't really hit full bore until they got there, and then it really didn't come to that boiling point. I'm going to do this for Tommy T until Ronda Rousey got in the mix and really got this stirred up.
Yep.
All right, so Matt Riddle took the win over Roderick Strong, and it was a hell of a match. I mean, that sums it up.
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty
there's
much.
nothing to pick apart. It was flawless. All right, so that brought us to the ladder match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship. The Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, defeated Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, and the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. What'd you guys think about this? Smokey, did you see this one?
No, I saw them talk about it, but
You missed a good match, man.
You've got to see it. You've got to see it. I mean, it was an insane ladder match. I thought several people died a couple times.
Same here.
I mean,
Same here.
there was nothing technical about this thing. I mean, it was just hit people with ladders, bodies are flying everywhere. It was insane.
It was. And the emotion that Montez Ford showed at the end as he grabbed the titles and was just standing up there and he hugged Angelo Dawkins, it just gave you that enjoyment out of watching wrestling again. It's just like you could truly see that was real. It wasn't, he was so happy and so emotional winning those tag titles because they worked hard.
Yeah.
They didn't come in together, but they formed a tag team and they really stuck to it. And they kind of had one of those slow builds.
Yeah.
Because they could have been champions a while ago and it wouldn't have meant as much as it did last Saturday. So it was the right choice having them win.
I think so too. I was scrolling through social media the other day, and one of our good friends who has been in this business a really long time had a post on his Facebook page predicting that in the next year, maybe two, I don't remember what time frame he put on it, that Montez Ford was going to be an all-out rock star.
And he is.
And
you
that
can
he
just
was
look
gonna
at
be
him
the
and
man.
tell. Him more so maybe than Angelo Dawkins, but Montez Ford, there's just something
Did you
about
see
him.
the finish when he jumps onto the ladder?
Yeah, dude.
That was crazy.
That was so insane.
I mean, because when it actually happened in real time, you didn't get to see him jump. All of a sudden, you just saw him land on the
And
ladder.
it's like, what happened? Like, where
the hell did he come
yeah,
from?
Yeah.
And then it took like 3 different camera angles before you could actually see him hop up and then hop over to the ladder. No, I mean, it really was an insane match. Again, it was one of those flawless type things that NXT seems to provide time over time over time. We had some good things to say about the Money in the Bank matches. Tommy T and myself had some good things to say about the actual Money in the Bank matches. This ladder match, however,
Blew it away.
blew him away.
See, I was going to say that, like, most of the ladder matches we see on the main roster are pretty good. I can only imagine how they are in NXT.
If there's a first match you go back and watch, it's this one. Go back
100%.
and watch this ladder match. I mean, it was insane. And, you know, one of the biggest things I want to talk about with NXT is I feel like anybody who really watches wrestling or knows the business or knows wrestling or has been a lifelong fan, however you want to say it, can watch the main roster and reasonably predict exactly what's getting ready to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to win? You know, you may not know exactly before the match starts. I mean, that's how you recently lost your title.
Do we really want to get into that?
Do you want to talk about it?
I mean, how long did I have the title?
I mean,
Longer than anyone else, right?
Does the term
And-
Lesnar mean anything to you?
And one time. One time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't feel like showing up tonight, so I'm going to take my title and go home.
Okay. But even after that, how long
Didn't
did
you
I hold
have
on
one
to it
stolen
after it?
too?
Oh, we're just okay.
You're very careless with the titles.
Oh, well, at least I can win a title,
Maybe you should get stripped.
right? Have you? I'm sorry. Are you a former champion?
Actually, I have my own.
Okay. We'll leave it there
Yep, that's what I thought.
because we'll never get to the rest of this card if we continue.
And victory for Double K.
Velveteen Dream.
Right. That's how you know you win, folks.
Okay, well.
That's how you send the
I'm sorry, I
man.
was the champion and the Money in the Bank briefcase holder at the same time, right? And I didn't even need a cash in
I
because I
just
never lost
sent the
title.
man packing.
Wait, how long did it take you to win?
I don't even know.
Exactly, because it was that long. It was close to a year, right? Tommy T over there.
He
in the
can't
background?
talk.
He's nodding in approval for
he's the
everyone.
DJ on
so
the wheels of
that's all
steel
we
right
need.
now.
That's all we need. It's fine. We all know the truth.
Oh, anyway. Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze. As great as the match was, I wasn't a huge fan of this match. Might be an unpopular thing to say. I just wasn't a big fan of the match.
That's surprising with Velveteen Dream.
I'm not saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying I wasn't a big fan of this one.
Did you see this one? Is this where you? No? Okay. I agree with you. Out of all the Velveteen Dream matches, this was my least favorite.
I felt like he kind of mailed it in.
It was, yeah, but I feel like they didn't gel well. The story for this match and the amount of time that they, or the lack thereof, that they had to really build into it, I think showed. But even in that aspect, the whole calling back to Tyler Breeze when he was first in NXT, in the video packages, they did that very well. And the ending after Velveteen Dream retained his title and the little selfie picture, that was a nice little touch. But quality of the match wasn't that great, but I think the story it made up for it.
The story was much better than the match.
But it definitely wasn't a Velveteen Dream Matt Riddle match or
No.
anything like that.
Well, because let's face it, again, this is going to be something probably a little unpopular for some people. Tyler Breeze is not on Matt Riddle's level.
Right.
He's just not. I think had Tyler Breeze never left NXT and gone and joined the Fashion Police on the main roster and tarnished whatever he had built in NXT to get called up, I feel like he's not the same guy.
He's not. You can just look at him and tell.
I felt like it was, how do I want to say it? From his end, I felt like it was unenthusiastic for a lot of the match. I felt like he was there to do a good job.
And he did. It wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't, I think, what I was expecting. I didn't think it was going to be the best Velveteen Dream match.
And it wasn't.
But I think Tyler Breeze was there was just something lacking on his end, and it really showed. Because Velveteen Dream did everything he could to save that match and to keep it going. And like I said, it wasn't bad, but I expected a little bit more.
Yeah, well, what I was saying is I think Tyler Breeze's mindset was there to do a good job, not to put on a great show.
Right, just passable.
And he did. It was passable. Like I said, it wasn't bad. Sticking with what we said earlier, I've never seen a bad NXT match.
Right.
But this one was definitely missing something. It was definitely outshined by every other match on the card. And
For sure.
We didn't see the pre-show, but I'm willing to bet they were better than this match.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, I thought, honestly, that this was going to be the Shayna Baszler's swan song. I thought she was going to lose.
Be called up,
I thought she was going to be I thought she was going to be losing that title to Io Shirai that night. Didn't happen. I honestly, I thought before, and I thought the way the match was going, I never one time thought she was going to win until she actually won. I was like, well, there you go. But
How long has she had the title now?
Since
It's been-
Evolution? Pay-per-view?
yeah,
It's been a while.
yeah.
I
No,
think.
you're right. I think
She
she's
had it for a
since
long
Evolution.
time before, and I think she regained it at the Evolution
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think she
I
got-
could be wrong, but
No, I think you're right.
was that 8 months? Okay.
Yeah.
8 months. And she's probably one of the longest reigning champions that in all the rosters: SmackDown, Raw, NXT, 205 Live.
Yeah, well, definitely NXT. But yeah, I did. I honestly thought she was going to lose it. It was a great friggin' match. It had
She's amazing. Shayna Baszler is just.
Well, Io Shirai had a great night too. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not really. She is amazing in the ring. I'm just not that high on her. I love Shayna Baszler. I think she needs to stay down there as long as she can because she's another one of those like a Matt Riddle. The second she gets called up, she'll be hot. I think she'll be hot for a few months, but I think it's gonna be like the shiny new toy thing. Like once the glamour is off, what are you doing then?
I don't know. See, there's where I've got to differ a little bit. I think that she may be one of those superstars that when they come up, that's your female Seth Rollins, that's your female Roman Reigns.
But yes,
That make it, because I mean, other than that, you've got Charlotte.
and I think Shayna would need to go to SmackDown. I don't want her to go to Raw when she gets called up. Just because she could have an awesome feud with Becky, and I think that would be a phenomenal match. But it's one of those things like once you get that dream match out of the way, what do you do after that? Like
Right.
where's the card underneath to support her?
Well, and I
So
think
that's my
that's
fear
I
right
think that's
now.
where we are with Becky and Charlotte and everybody
Oh,
now.
Becky for sure.
Yeah, with
Becky on Raw for sure.
with Ronda out of the picture. With Ronda out of the picture on the main roster, there's really not a feud that I'm excited about. I mean, we're going to get into that a little more here in a minute, but it just, I don't know. But I see Shayna Baszler going to Raw and actually being successful long term.
Do you see her? I guess we can talk about this later, but filling in for Ronda Rousey to go after Becky. Is that where you say Raw, or just because?
I don't know where I see it. I just see her being kind of like the woman up there. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
Like, I feel like I don't know what kind of mold Vince really has when it comes to the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now it currently looks like he's got a blonde thing going.
Right.
Isn't that what Becky said?
Yeah, once or twice.
I mean, you would know what Becky said, right?
Oh, I would. You're right about that, sir.
Zach, what do you think? Oh. Smokey, what do you think? Vince got a blonde thing. Do you see Shayna Baszler fitting into the picture long term?
I could see her in the same shoes as Ronda because they both have that MMA background. Like, she can go in, like you said, and she could probably won't do as well at taking Ronda's job. Meanwhile, while she's out with injury, but she could definitely.
I think I see the dream match for Shayna is Ronda.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
I don't think the dream match is
100%.
Charlotte. I don't think the dream match is Becky. It's damn sure not Bayley or
I think it's
really.
like a perfect matchup
Yeah.
for those two.
Well, I mean, because it would be the closest thing to a shoot match we would get.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That's
a good
what I
point.
think, and I
Yeah.
think that would be amazing.
Oh, that.
I would definitely pay for that ticket. But like I said, she defended. Io Shirai did not win the title.
But
But
Io Shirai snapped at the end. Did you
She
see
did.
that?
She did.
She.
but
kinda-
what does that mean?
Well, and that's the thing too. I see them having a rematch. But again, do we know when the next takeover is? I don't think it's been announced.
I don't think
yet.
it's been announced yet.
I don't think so either. But yeah, I can see them having a rematch. But I see Shayna just beating her. But then it's like, who does Shayna face after that? NXT
At
Mia
some
Yim,
point,
maybe?
Shayna's got to go on up.
Right. Well, that's the problem.
You know, I think at some point she's just got to go
Yeah.
and have a meaningless feud with 2 or 3 different people.
She needs to have squash matches when she gets on the main roster.
You know, if we're talking about, like you just said, Smokey, if we're talking about Shayna filling somebody's shoes, whoever filled Chyna's shoes?
I don't think anybody did.
Right.
Right.
I could see something like that. Or I could see her going the Beth Phoenix route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where, in my mind, where I could see Shayna Baszler's path on the main roster going.
So not as dominant as Ronda?
It depends on...
Because none of them...
It depends on what Ronda wants to give them when she gets back.
Yeah, that's true.
If Ronda says, hey, I'm here for another 5, 6, 7, whatever years, then no, not as dominant as Ronda. But I think, unfortunately, that would be a feud that would get ran into the dirt until we were actually tired of it.
Very true. Good point.
Once you get past that third match and they get into 4, 5, and 6, and like, all right, we've seen it. Let's go.
Right.
All right. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't see her as, kind of like the bells and whistles thing. She's got to go in and be a brawler and get it done that way. But speaking of title changes, Adam Cole defeated Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. How you guys feel about that?
Finally. I love Adam Cole. He reminds me of a young Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. I love Adam Cole.
I've said that a million times.
He is, I think, more so than anyone else.
He can just look at you with both eyes.
Anyway, good point there, Double K.
Thank you. Oh, next time we do this, I'll wear my glasses that Triple H loaned me.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Can we get the ones that Sean had with the big nose?
Yeah. Well, that's what Tommy T's going to be wearing. He's got to have the big nose.
Sweet.
Yep. But yeah.
I forgot what I was saying. I have no idea.
What happened? It's
Can't tell
okay.
you. Oh, Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, baby.
Young Shawn Michaels before the whole eye vision situation.
Well, in the back and
yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah,
whatever. But Adam Cole, I think is the future of the company.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm. I think
like
he is
the
one
future
of those
the whole
in its
like
entirety.
the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm. Don't see it happening within the next 2 or 3 years, and it shouldn't.
No.
I think he is going to be one of those slow risers like Shawn. How long was Shawn in WWE until he became a main event guy?
Well, I mean, it was up into the 90s because he was tooling around with Marty Jannetty as part of the Rockers for years.
Right, but exactly, he worked. The system is obviously different now where they have NXT. So yes, Adam Cole has already been and currently obviously a world champion in one division, and I see him staying at NXT for probably another year or so because the main roster is too clustered right now for anyone to be caught up. So I think. And that's a good thing. I think this is going to benefit him so well because he can stay down there, just get better. And then once he hits that main roster, I think he's going to be a Seth Rollins and be a world champion. And no doubt about it.
I agree.
Yeah. What if he doesn't hit the main roster? What if he leaves? What if the other guys come and claim him?
I could see that because his girlfriend is in AEW.
Does he... All right, so let me ask you guys this. Which mold does he fit better? Does he fit the main roster mold better, as is? Or does he fit AEW better?
I think he fits main roster. Or WWE.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think he would do extremely well in AEW, and he would definitely be their world champion at some point. But I think he is a superstar.
I think so, too. But I think if he goes main roster WWE, they kill it.
Do you think he'll be moved to like 205? Is that what you're thinking, or he'll just fly
because of
like
how
around?
small he is.
Yeah, he just he doesn't
that
fit.
big build.
He doesn't fit Vince's mold. He fits Triple H's vision, but who's really calling the shots?
Well, right, and that's why I think Triple H is gonna keep him in NXT as long as he can, because with the whole other batch of superstars that went up, Undisputed Era never did, and they would have been an easy 4 to move up.
I mean, we have talked in the past couple shows about NXT trying to keep people there for good. You see Adam Cole staying in NXT and just...
No, I think at some point he goes somewhere.
I can see Johnny Gargano, if I said that right, staying...
Say it one more time. Say it 5 times really fast.
Anyway, I can see him staying in NXT. I can see him being a Cassius Ohno type, like a gatekeeper type in NXT. But Not Adam Cole.
Sorry, folks. I was trying to spell that out and see how many G's that Gate started with.
I think it was 5, right?
It was at least 3.
Good Gate? Okay.
It was at least 3. But no, I do. I really do. I agree with you. I think Triple H tries to keep him there as long as he can. But at some point, he's going to go. But Johnny Gargano has come out and said that he wants to stay there.
Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere. He understands what happens if he goes to the main
Exactly.
roster.
You got a taste
Absolutely
of it real quick.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Maybe 205 Live.
Yeah,
Which probably be
unfortunate.
worse
At
than
best. But if I had to give this show, the overall show, a rating 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay.
It's the best thing that's going right now, in my opinion, in professional wrestling.
I agree.
AEW still got more to prove. We've seen one AEW show. It was awesome. It was everything, again, that you would want, but it was like watching NXT.
Right. And they could focus on that one show for months and not have to worry about anything the next night, or even the next month right off the bat. So, yes, it was a great show, but they kind of had no option for it not to be a bad show or a good show because they had so long to plan for it.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, what I'm learning as we go is that shows that are taking around that 5 to 6 month mark to plan are usually going to be badass when they happen. All right. So let's talk main roster for a minute.
All right.
All right. Didn't you just finished like 7.5 hours talking Raw and SmackDown?
Essentially. Yes.
Okay.
That's why I was late. If you just want to squash that elephant real quick. I was the reason this show is late, guys. I apologize. So
way to go.
Hence some of the
you can
roasting that's
stop
going
at the-
on.
Yeah.
I can't
You
stop.
feel better now?
I can't, no,
No?
you know better.
Just like the whole stealing of the title thing, I'll never live it down.
No, you won't.
Absolutely not.
It was the title and the briefcase.
You're right. You're right.
Wait. Say it one more time. What'd you say?
You're right, Chris.
Okay, there
Double
we go.
K. Double K. You are right.
Either way, either persona will take that. I'll take it. All right. So tomorrow's kind of a big day for the main roster. Super Showdown. Before we get into what the matches are on the card, how do you feel about it going in? Like, Smokey? What's your excitement level right now? 0 to 10. 10 being you just can't stand it. You got to watch it. You'll do anything to see it, and obviously 0 being you're going to go work in the rain.
I mean, really the only match I'm super excited to see is the Goldberg and Undertaker match.
Yeah.
And then another match that I think is going to surprise everybody is the Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston match. So I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and they had posted the past encounters that Kofi and Dolph have had. And their matches are always super exciting. They're both really talented and athletic. So I think it's going to be a surprisingly really good match.
Yeah. Real quick, we're coming to you in a second. But going back to what we were just talking about with Adam Cole, when I think of Kofi and I think of Dolph Ziggler, I think of Adam Cole. And look at the path. They've had really good, long careers, 11 years and 14 years, respectively.
Both world champions.
But it took Kofi 11 years to get one.
Right.
And every time Dolph has one, mainly due to injury and things, he drops it quickly.
Yeah.
Any title that he's had, he's never had very long. So I think on the main roster that Dolph Ziggler is the best in-ring performer that they have on the main roster.
Yeah.
It's just every time he's in the ring, it's super exciting to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I think he's the closest thing to Shawn Michaels on the main roster.
Oh, 100%. 100% currently.
Yeah.
Just wait for Adam Cole. Just wait.
We're going to wait. We're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
Because now he's the NXT champion. But, so let's talk about Undertaker Goldberg. I said it last week. Smokey said it just now. Like, that's the match I think that we were most looking forward to. I've changed my most looking forward to match to Kofi and Dolph Ziggler. But, I mean, I'm still, I'm excited. I like the nostalgia. I mean, I'm the guy that kicked the dude in the back of the head at WrestleMania when Hulk Hogan's music hit. Hogan wasn't even doing anything, and I kicked this dude in the back of the head just trying to stand up. It happens. I don't know what to tell you. So
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a nostalgia thing with me. I'm not super excited to actually see them in the ring. I'm just excited for it to happen, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it does. It does. I don't see this being a long match. 10 minutes, I think max. 10, 12 minutes maybe, but I'd say 10 minutes. I think this is one of those matches where it's obviously there's no real story behind it, just the amount of time it's taken to actually happen. But I think you have to kind of go Undertaker winning here, right? Because Undertaker needs the win
that was my
more
pick.
than Goldberg does.
That was my pick.
I don't know.
Because Goldberg went off.
Well, now's the time to make a pick,
Yeah.
son.
I think I'm going to have to go with Goldberg.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's as 50-50 of a shot
Oh, yeah.
as there's been in any WWE show in recent memory. If this was Bill Goldberg 20 years ago and Taker 20 years ago, I would probably go Goldberg.
oh, and as long as it wasn't at WrestleMania, 100%.
But we're dealing with a different Bill Goldberg mindset-wise now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he got paid a truckload of money to come do this one match. However, I still feel like the first time ever, I feel like it's going to be Undertaker taking it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say because this is the first time ever, it's not going to be the last time ever. Thoughts?
I see them having a rematch next time they go back to Jeddah. That's the name of it, right? Where they're going to be, Jeddah. So I see this being the beginning of a small mini feud between them. So that's why I think Undertaker wins here.
Right.
And because Goldberg can take the loss.
But so, I mean, what does it really matter?
It doesn't
for
matter.
either one if there is a loss.
Really, it really doesn't matter. But I just think it would hurt.
Who loses what if there's a loss?
But
I
that's
mean,
the thing with a lot of these matches. Like, what do they really matter? Like, they were just thrown together for this show.
Yeah, no, I
So that's-
100% agree with that.
You can say that about, and besides the title matches, you can say that about any of them.
We're going to get together tomorrow and watch this show. But, what, you got to work or something?
It's at 2:00, right? In
Yeah.
the afternoon? Yeah. I'm sorry, I have
Loser.
a normal job.
Those guys aren't normal. All right, so it's one of those matches coming up now that have been done to death. And I'm not overly excited for it. Is Triple H versus Randy Orton. It just does not. Did you guys see the face-off
On Monday?
on Monday?
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of comical.
It was funny.
It was, yeah.
It was
I
funny,
enjoyed it.
and I think it was 100%. Well, let's say it was 75% unscripted at the end, and it was hilarious. But it doesn't have the same feel as when it was so personal. You know, I go back to when Randy handcuffed Triple H to the bottom rope
Yeah.
and stunned Stephanie, and then planted that big old kiss on her.
Yeah.
I take it back further than that. When Randy won the World Heavyweight Championship in Evolution.
I get flashbacks on that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they did a video package for this, right? For their.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I caught all of that, but I'm sure they had that moment in there when he was backdropped off of Batista's shoulders, right?
They've shown that at least 500 times in the last 2 episodes of Raw.
Okay, well, it must have been when I was fast forwarding.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, were you fast forwarding trying to find a match?
Well, that too. It
Well,
wasn't as bad as
then
last
you
week's, where it
lost
took
2
like an
hours of
hour.
the show
Yeah.
fast forwarding at that
Yeah.
point. I'm really, really not looking forward to seeing Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins.
No. Why is Baron Corbin even there?
I don't know.
Well, if you
Especially in a title match.
You know
Okay,
what?
but-
You know what? Real quick, I'm going to say this. This is a live show. We do have the ability to have people chime in on this show. This is the perfect time that if you're listening, please give us your thought and opinion on why in the hell Baron Corbin is getting this opportunity. Because none of us sitting here are excited about it, and I'm pretty sure that none of the four of us sitting in this room right now think he should. Fast forward was stuck.
It wasn't an option. Okay, so who else would you want? This show doesn't really matter, okay? It's not one of the main shows. We all have agreed on that.
Yeah, but if I'm going to sit and watch it, I at least want to be entertained.
But it's leading to my point. Would you want Seth to go up against a credible opponent and have them lose? Because then you just blow through that match, whereas Baron Corbin is an easy opponent to just get done and out of the way. He's one of those guys that you can throw in there at any time.
Yeah.
And people will be frustrated because they don't like Baron Corbin. Seth will beat him. Brock may or may not cash in. And then you move on.
Extremely valid point.
It's a placeholder.
The whole card's a placeholder.
Right. That's the point.
But my thing is, why are you going to do a placeholder in a title match?
Because who else is Seth going to face then?
There will not be... You know what? I'm going to scratch that. I'm going to start over. You know, I said last week there would not be a title to change hands in this show. There might be now. You know, we kind of discussed this before we went on air tonight. What if Lesnar swerves everybody and cashes in on Kofi Kingston? What happens then? Nobody knows what in the hell to do. Because now you got Brock Lesnar on SmackDown.
I don't think a cash-in is going to happen tomorrow. I think they're going to drag it out because there's no reason to. Like, the whole reason why it was a great idea to have Brock win is because Brock barely shows up. So when he does show up, it's even more of a moment because he's showing up. First of all, that's a surprise because he's never there. And then he's going to be bringing the briefcase with him, so he's going to be cashing in. So
sound
is
familiar?
He be dancing to the ring?
No, I hope not. That's awful. But it was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny the first time. I'm not going to lie. It was funny. I don't want to seem like, the downer here. But it was funny. But let's get over it.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to business. That idea was given to me by Tommy T before we went on air.
That he cashes in on Kofi?
And the more I sit here and talk about it, the more I think about it, I think it's going to happen.
Because he's going to have the more competitive match.
And nobody's thinking it. Nobody's thinking that's what's going to happen.
What if?
Because it's Lesnar on SmackDown if it does.
And that's...
What if, I'm just brainstorming.
We'll storm away.
Brock Lesnar cashes in and Kofi still retains it.
I don't see that any way, shape, or form. I mean, that's a huge what if. I think if he chooses to cash it in on Kofi, he's getting it. It's a done deal.
Imagine the heat, though, on Brock Lesnar if he cashes in on Kofi and wins that title.
Exactly. So
what's the difference in any other time, though?
You imagine that heat.
That's what I'm saying. The more we talk about it, and what better way to get all that heat right back on him? And we've said it a million times. He puts asses in seats.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another question. So if he does cash in on Kofi, and he takes the belt from Kofi,
then Kofi's no longer champion.
What do they do with Kofi? What do they do with Kofi, though?
He goes back to the back of the line, unfortunately. I mean, because think about it. Like it or not, New Day's coming to an end, people. Mm-hmm. And we might touch on that again here in a few minutes, but New Day's coming to an end. The New Day is not the New Day with just Kofi and Xavier Woods.
No.
It's just not. So
you gotta have Big E.
You do. I mean, or else it's not the New Day. And that's not one of those factions where you can just fill in with somebody else.
No.
Just look at Big O. It was a failure.
He was. And so he got so mad because he failed, he picked a fight and ended up losing. But I think when Kofi loses the title, depending on who he loses it to, especially if it's Lesnar, he goes to the back of the line. And he'll never hold the title again. But somebody had to say it. I don't like that. That's not...
No,
that's just one of those predictable things.
That's just the way I see it happening.
But is it... So, were you saying that if he loses to Brock, he'll never get the title again? Or if he just loses in general, or when he does, he'll never
definitely if he loses to Brock, I think he never gets it again. I think if he were to lose it to a Ziggler, I see an ongoing feud where the title changes hands more than once.
Because I could
until Lesnar cashes in and takes it from one of them.
Yeah. Because I could see them going a route where they drag this Ziggler-Kofi feud out for 2 months, 3 months.
I'm okay with that.
Me too, but I could see Big E coming back and during that match costing Kofi the victory and realigning himself with Dolph Ziggler. Because if you think about it, when Dolph won, Big E was in his corner along with AJ Lee. Yeah. So they could play into that since they've already gone back in history, which WWE rarely does. Call back to however many years ago it was. So
they always go back in history. They just recycle it with the same with different people.
So you think that Big E will come back and screw over Kofi to give the belt back? Give the belt to Ziggler?
No, I think it's more of a Lesnar thing. I think that's too many in my mind. That's too many moving parts for this show. Feel like if it was a normal show, normal big show, pay-per-view type thing in the United States, then yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could,
yeah.
That's, I'd be 100% on board and say, yep, I think that could happen. I think over there, I think it's going to be Kofi Ziggler pretty well head up. Mm-hmm. And you're going to hear Lesnar's music hit. Maybe like he did to Rollins the other night. Maybe it hits multiple times before he actually comes out. And whoever has the title, I mean, we might be talking about him cashing in on Kofi Kingston, and Ziggler may win, and he cashes in on Ziggler. So, I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I think there's a lot of possibilities with that one match right there.
It's a lot of different ways that it could go.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Lesnar cashes in on the winner of that match. Neither one of those guys walk out with the title. Disagree? Agree?
I don't think Brock is cashing in. I think if he even...
I think it's going to be another one of those bluffs.
Think so? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, because it's not, again, I've always been of the mind that there's not a title that's going to change hands in this event. But if a title is going to change hands, it's going to be the one we were just talking about. And it could change hands twice in that one night. Could.
I mean, anything's possible, but I don't see him going that route. I'll save my prediction for the Seth match when we get to that.
Well, let's talk about it.
All right. I think Seth is going to retain. Of course, Seth is going to retain against Baron Corbin. I think Brock's music is going to hit. He's going to run down to the ring, be in his wrestling gear, all that. He's going to beat up on Seth. He's going to go to try to cash in before the bell rings. Seth is going to get up, start fighting back. Brock is going to not get scared off, but he's going to rethink his decision and go back. And then another false narrative, I guess.
Okay. All right.
But that's how I see it. Because why would they want to waste it so soon? That's the only one they have left. They already did Bayley's. Why would they want to waste it? When you can have a storyline that you can always fall back on. Brock.
When is he cashing in?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That's literally a storyline you could drag on
and
for
Brock
a
doesn't
year
have
and
to
still
tell us
leave
when he's
everybody
cashing
to
in.
suspense.
That's what I don't understand about this storyline. Is why is it such a big deal? Oh, he's coming up on Monday, so we can find out when he's cashing in. Since when do we need to know? That's the whole point, is to cash in at a random time.
I think it's to draw people
Only
in.
2 people have actually said when they're cashing in. That was RVD and John Cena. Everyone else has been a surprise, and that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, but nobody like Brock Lesnar's ever held Money in the Bank.
Right, so that's why I think they shouldn't blow it this soon.
And whenever has he been a sneak attack kind of guy?
Never.
Well, he's never there.
I mean, he's taken advantage of some guys who have been beaten down. But when's it been like a sneak attack? You just don't see it coming.
But doesn't that fit his character to a T, though? He can literally be gone for the next year. never have to work, still get paid, and then when he decides to show up, cash in, become the champion.
That sounds like somebody else we know.
As long as he doesn't leave the briefcase in his car, he might cash it in tomorrow in Jeddah.
So are either of you champions?
I have the briefcase, and it's safe. I just want you to know.
I don't think you're a champion either. At this moment.
How long was I a champion? How long?
Nobody was counting.
Longest, because it was just so long. I was like, who needs to count anymore?
You
Because y'all were getting frustrated. I believe
Not
Double K got a little
It was
frustrated
boring. You were like the
sometimes.
Monday Night Raw of the group.
I mean, someone has to win. That's fine. That's fine with me.
Nobody was tuned in. Nobody was
I'm
watching.
sure it would be the exact opposite if someone else in here was the champion for that long. So, hey, you can say all you want.
See,
I'm
I would
cool
be
with
like
it.
the Ric Flair of the group. I would be sticking it in your face every time. Hey, see my title? See my belt? You see it? Check this
Oh,
out.
I did
Woo!
take a picture. I should actually post that picture after we wrap up here.
You can use it for like Throwback Thursday.
Hey, whatever. At least I have one to post. At least I have a TBT.
All right, who's taking the Intercontinental title? Is Andrade walking out with it, or is
Finn
the
keeps
Demon Finn Balor going to walk out
I
with it?
think the Demon keeps it.
I do too. I'm going to stick with my earlier prediction that, aside from potentially Kofi's title, no other title is going to change hands. I think Balor walks out with it. Actually, you know what? I think that has potential to be a really good match.
Yeah, I think besides the
it's done
Ziggler
right.
and Kofi match, I think this is going to be the match, one of the matches of the night.
It's hard to call it a sleeper match, but I'm going to call that the sleeper match. That match has potential to steal the show.
100%.
I
I
think
love Andrade. He's you look at him and you can tell he's a star.
Yeah. No, I like him. I like what he brings to the table, and like I think that's going to be potentially the match of the night. Potentially. At worst, it's going to be the second best.
Right.
Behind Ziggler, Kofi, and Lesnar cashing in.
Pretty confident on this cash in.
Yeah.
Hey, if
I
you're
can't
going to
wait
say
to see it
something,
not
if you're going to
happen.
say something, be confident in it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay then. As long as we're all in agreement there. All right, Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon. Sorry for my excitement there. What do you think?
I mean, isn't it obvious Roman Reigns is going to win?
No, I don't think it is obvious anymore.
I see Drew coming out, the Revival coming out, interfering. But this is one of those matches that Roman, it's crazy to say, but he needs. Since his comeback, he's been kind of flat. Like, you can look at him and tell, like, something's missing.
Well,
That excitement isn't there.
Well, he beat Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
But that wasn't exciting.
and it was
it
kinda-
was just like, whatever. But he needs something to re-energize his character.
But is a Shane McMahon match the one to do it since, pretty much everybody's had that
No,
Shane
but-
McMahon match.
Not for
And
nothing.
the Miz has just recently had a Shane McMahon feud using a father figure as the fuel for the fire.
Also seen that storyline several
Well,
times.
Shane keeps on bringing up the fact that Roman Superman punched his dad. It's the same storyline, it's just flipped.
Saw it with Shane and The Miz. Saw it with Randy and John.
Yeah. Yep. Recycled. So, I mean, I'm not super excited for it. It may be a good match, but I'm just not super excited for it. You know what really probably makes me the most mad about, like, the Shane McMahon thing, is when do we get to see Drew McIntyre actually branch out
And that's what I'm
and
looking
be on
for
his
with this.
be on his own?
That's why
Like when they first brought him back, he was like this big dude that was gonna take over.
But where did he take over? Speaking of takeover, he was great in NXT when he came in.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of those superstars.
There we go. Exactly. So now, since it's almost like 3MB all over again. He just has a new Drew McIntyre persona.
It's not that.
It's the same thing. I know it's not that bad, but I mean,
If they keep pushing it,
it's Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre.
If they keep pushing it, it will be that bad.
People are going to get tired of it just the same way. At least Lashley's starting to kind of go do his
At
own
least
thing
take
a little bit.
Baron Corbin out of the equation.
Again, I think they are kind of starting to split Corbin back out on his own. They are starting to split Lashley back out on his own. But then you got Drew McIntyre,
You just
who to
took
me
him
is
out,
more interesting than either one of those two guys.
Took him out and then stuck him with Shane.
And you took him out of that, and now he's with Shane McMahon. He's his stooge now. Like, come on.
But do you
That's
see
a
this?
that's a big dude that you're doing nothing.
But
with.
it's not just a big dude. It's a big, athletic, uber talented,
Great on the mic.
great on the mic performer that should be on his own.
And fits the build.
Like, if we're talking about all-encompassing mic skills, in-ring ability, athleticism, all those things, he's better than Roman Reigns.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Hence the confusion.
Well, this could be... I could see him staying with Shane for a while and then just screwing Shane over one day. And to actually go out on his own. I think he should have been moved to SmackDown when the whole draft happened. Because he could be the top guy on SmackDown.
You're right, but I mean, this is something we talk about a little bit too, and it's a little bit off of the topic we're on. But does the draft even matter at this point? Because guys are
doesn't.
going back and
It's
forth
so
and back and
sad.
forth and back and forth.
It's
So he
getting
essentially
ridiculous.
is on SmackDown and Raw, just like Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Roman was drafted to SmackDown, and he spends as much time on Raw. So I don't know.
This wild card thing makes no sense.
No, it's wild.
It's stupid.
Agreed. I think that's the general consensus, honestly. We just said Bobby Lashley. Strowman Lashley.
This is probably the match that I'm least looking forward to.
Yeah?
I'm just...
Why is that?
I'm not a fan of Lashley, and I'm just so disappointed with what they've done with Braun over the past year plus.
You mean what they haven't done with Braun?
Well, yeah. But it's so sad. This could have been a great match. I think Strowman wins here, but I think it'll be fine. Maybe a 10-minute match, but it'll be hard hitting, and I think it'll be decent. But I'm just not looking forward to it.
Smash Mouth? Are you saying it might be Smash Mouth?
No, I would never say that.
It's good because you get charged if you do.
Good. Well, don't worry, that won't happen.
What do you think, Smokey? Strowman, Lashley, who's it going to be?
I'm going to have to go with Lashley.
Why do you choose Lashley? Just curious.
I need something for him to turn around on.
But do y'all not view this show as just like a feel-good show?
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
that's why I don't see anything major happening here.
No, but it's also a good way to kickstart something.
No, I mean, I see both of those. And again, it's just, I think this is just a show. I think the show that we're getting ready to see should be a Monday Night Raw here or there. It should be a SmackDown episode here or there.
Yeah.
But it's not. I mean, it's not the way it's going to be. Lucha House Party versus
care
Lars
less.
Sullivan.
Could care less.
I'm with you. 100%. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time talking about it. I feel like we know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm
Yeah.
done. Moving on.
Yeah.
We good there?
Yeah.
This next one, though, this next match, though, however, potentially, again, has a show stealer potential. The Usos versus the Revival.
Oh, I didn't even realize this was an official match.
Hey, that's what we do. It's
look at you
groundbreaking
guys.
news
Yeah,
here.
It is.
What-
Well,
What'd you say?
nothing.
We don't give out fake news.
Let's see. Proud of you guys.
It's fair. No, this one could potentially be, again, another show stealer. It all depends on if the Revival takes the comic relief gimmick or if they're actually allowed to come out and put on a show. We know what the Usos are going to do.
Right.
All right, we got that. We just don't know which Revival is going to be presented to us tomorrow. If we get the Revival, the performers that they're allowed to go out and do their thing, this is going to be a hell of a match. But I don't know.
If they don't come out with their comic.
Yeah, as long as they're not shaving backs.
With the
Right.
Uzi hot.
With the Uzi hot. Yeah.
You gotta be careful where you put that stuff.
Well, he had a bad experience with it
I was
once.
about
That's
to say,
why
I'm
he's
sure
shaking
Tommy
his head.
T probably knows a thing or two about Uzi hot, so it's
I
probably
bet
a
he
sore
does.
subject.
It might have been where all that hair.
No,
fine.
it's probably not a
Fine.
source of it. It's a hot topic, though.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
Oh, you're so quick-witted.
But like I said, I think that show could potentially be a show stealer too. All right, what are we thinking about the 50-man?
What is there to think? I don't understand.
Titus O'Neil Foley.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That was priceless. But is that little title that Braun won the first time, is that going to be up for grabs? But that's the only thing, because there's like, when someone wins this, what do they win?
That
Has
was
that been announced?
that little green belt that Strowman got that day was probably the most meaningless title belt in the history.
Right. People talk crap about the 24/7 title, but no, that title.
You know what? Wait a minute.
What was the name of that title anyway?
Here's what I'm going to say. I think nobody knows. It was
saw it that night and then never saw it again.
That was their version of a participation trophy. Right. Thanks for coming. Here's your belt. Go home.
That's my point.
It's like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah.
That's just...
It's a better trophy than what the women get for their their Battle
ugly.
Royal trophy.
It looks...
Battle Royale.
Their Battle Royale.
Royale.
Oh. I
would be more invested in this match if it actually had a stipulation, or you win this, you get a title shot down the road.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, no,
something.
it's meanegless. It's like pretty much.
It's just to get everyone on the card.
The rest of the show, it's to give everybody something to do that makes the trek over there.
Yeah.
And to drag it out a little bit. It will be the quickest Royal Rumble, I think, because they're just gonna prance everybody out, get it over with. It was like the Andre the
Jordan. Andre had a son.
You know what? I've just realized.
His cousin.
No, wait a minute. I've just realized something. Maybe it's not Tommy T. Maybe it's this microphone. Hey, you keep it quiet, gatekeeper.
Hey. It happens to the best of us. Now you know how it feels.
Anyway,
the
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was over with pretty quickly on the pre-show at WrestleMania, was it not?
I'm sorry, I was distracted by Andre the Jordan.
What'd you say, gatekeeper?
You heard me. At least I know the names.
Oh my goodness! All right, so
I'm sorry.
Are we done talking about this place holding show?
Let's just try to move on from
right, so I don't have extremely high expectations for this show. I think the only thing that can happen.
Anybody had high expectations for the last one they had?
No,
I don't think it would be a bad show. I think the company can't wait for it to be over with so they can move on.
I mean, I was able to watch the last time they did it over there, sitting in an airport, so I didn't have anything else to do. But like I said, we're going to watch it. We'll see how it is. I hope it's good. I do. Yeah, I really hope it's a good show. I think our only hope for a wow moment or a this is awesome moment is Kofi and Dolph.
Right.
Yes, 100%.
I hope I'm surprised and I'm wrong, but I think that's the only shot. All right, so we need to mention, all right, there have been 3 women from the roster who have made the trip over there. Mm-hmm. So there's a potential to have a women's match in Jeddah.
And it was Natalya,
Alexa Bliss,
and I don't think I saw the third one.
I didn't see a third one.
I saw because they took a picture, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but the outfit that they wear over there, because they have to be completely covered. I just don't know the name of it.
Maybe if we can get our statistician over here on that really fast, we might have the. We
really
may have the.
Guy.
Yeah. What was that guy from ESPN? The Schwab? Wasn't that what his name was back in the day? He was like the dude that sat behind a computer all day with Coke bottle glasses on, looking up stats.
Oh, Renee Young went as well?
Renee Young went.
Okay, so maybe a one-on-one match with Alexa Bliss and Natalya?
Yeah.
If anything. But and not for nothing, I think that would be monumental. And I think that would be the one thing that WWE can hang their cap on.
Yeah, no, I think that would be huge. I think
that could be a pretty good match.
Well, yeah, I think it would be.
It would be a historical moment.
Yeah, even if it's not a good, even if it's not a great match, it's going to be a historical moment for sure. So excited to see how that plays out. We'll know tomorrow. We talked about the New Day a little while ago, and I made the comment that I think the New Day is pretty well dead. I don't know what's going on specifically, but it kind of feels like Big E is done and is doing his best to get fired. But he is on record as saying that he couldn't get fired currently, even if he tried to.
And I missed that. When was that? That was a tweet? What was it in response to?
We got the facts coming up.
The facts are coming, but
Check.
yeah, I feel like there's been the last few times that if I've been watching, when I've seen him, he hasn't been the same. Obviously, there was an injury in there, but even when he was on film and on camera, there's just something that's not quite right, and
Like
you can
Roman.
feel it.
Which is upsetting because
Roman.
I like Big E. Big E
Yeah.
In my
is
opinion.
entertaining.
Big E
He
makes
can
the New
he
Day.
can work. Yeah, right.
That
he
that
works the
entrance
mic
is what you look forward to.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not terrible in the ring.
No, I mean he's super athletic. He's one of the strongest performers they have. So he's versatile, and he can do pretty much anything in the ring that he needs to do.
Yeah, and I think out of the three, I mean, obviously Kofi's the champion right now, but I think Big E would have the most potential between, I guess, him and Xavier Woods to be that breakout star from that group.
Well, I mean, we're saying that as Kofi's holding the title.
As a
though.
heel, I think he would have to be a heel.
I see
Right.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's built up enough credibility with the WWE universe and really any wrestling fan that casual or not that watches.
Yeah.
He's built up enough credibility with him that a heel turn for Big E would be amazing. But to me, it doesn't sound like he wants to even be there. It doesn't sound like he's looking for a heel turn or a title push or anything. Maybe he is.
Another thing is, though, we've never really seen Big E in a whole lot of singles competition because when he came on board, he was stuck with AJ Lee and Dolph Ziggler. And then after that, he's been with the New Day ever since.
I think he did have a singles run. I think he was maybe the Intercontinental Champion at one point. Maybe. I mean, but obviously it wasn't anything. Big E. I think he held a singles title. I could be wrong.
Maybe
but I
once.
If he
If
did, it
he-
was once. But if he did, I don't remember it.
Yeah,
Right,
it
so
wasn't
it was
very
nothing
long.
major.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the other hand too, though, that's actually a benefit for him because he hasn't had to wrestle as much. The New Day, they would rotate members out for tag matches, singles
Yeah.
matches. So
Sure.
at least his body isn't as beat up as the average wrestler who's been there that long.
Yeah. Well, you know, that comment that came from him came in response to comment on Twitter, essentially saying, "Please don't go." And so he responded to it. I'm not going to go through the entire quote, but that's where the "I couldn't get fired currently if I tried" came from. It was in response to a Twitter comment asking him to please don't go.
I mean,
I feel like that would be in my mind, that's a huge loss to WWE because
well, it's the same thing with Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. It's a group that you can never reform or
yeah, there's
Or
no
have a
substitute
reunion.
for the Shield.
right.
You
So
know,
that's the major thing with Big E.
just like WCW couldn't substitute people for the NWO because the entire roster for WCW was the NWO at one point.
Right.
So there were no substitutes. Everybody was on the team. And we know how that played out. So I'm not going to read really anything into that. You know, I think there may be something to it, but I think it was just a response right now. Maybe that's Big E's
I
way.
think he's just playing on Twitter.
Well, I think maybe that's his way of saying,
Just staring.
you need me. You
Yeah.
can't fire me.
Well, I
We'll
mean,
see
I
how
can
that
be
works
careful
out.
with that and- well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We've seen how those situations have gone in the past, so
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to John Cena.
Do it.
John Cena says that WWE won't be led by, quote, just one guy, unquote, anymore. How do you guys feel about that?
Main roster wise, I don't feel like it's being led by anybody right now.
no.
Right, well,
Um,
fair.
But I don't know how I feel about that. Because I feel like they tried to make Roman that one guy. And they tried their damnedest to cram him down everybody's throat. And there was a revolt. Mm-hmm. Fans didn't want it. Fans didn't like it. I think at some point there will be a face of WWE again.
It's just one of those things that it just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when John Cena came out and got in Kurt Angle's face and said that he brought ruthless aggression to the table. Who in the world would have thought that night that he was going to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest in some people's eyes, of all time?
Nobody.
I wouldn't have, because, I mean, it was like, who the hell is this kid? So, I do think there's going to be a face of WWE again. I do. Who it's going to be, who knows? Could be Adam Cole.
That's what I'm saying.
It could be Adam Cole. Probably won't be Adam Cole, but it could be.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Like I said, it's just going to be one of those things that's just going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be by anybody being forced into the position. I think it's just going to be...
And I think they're lucky right now because even though you could say anything you want about the ratings and all that, the viewership, the reception, I don't think they're in a position where they actually need that one top guy right now. Because the brand is so big in and of itself, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, they're not forced to have another John Cena or a Hulk Hogan or anyone. They don't need that one person right now. So yeah, right now they aren't led by one person because they don't have to be. Of course, it could be better. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but they're getting by with it right now.
But they've got to. I feel like right now what they are lacking in direction is somewhere to hang their hat. Who is WWE right now?
Well, right.
I think they're caught in maybe a transition that we don't know about. Because there's something going on. It's just not... Mondays and Tuesdays are just not that interesting.
It's like to me, it's like it's falling apart.
Mm-hmm. You know, we're getting ready to talk about the 24/7 title, so I'll kind of blend it here. You know, for me, the 24/7 title is one of the better stories on either show right now.
How crazy is that?
I never thought that I would say that.
When they showed that belt on Raw, didn't think that was going to be a thing.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The belt is horrible.
Oh, my God.
And I think that was obviously on purpose because it's not meant to be taken seriously. So why have this beautiful title and it's just a joke? Everyone knows it's a joke. It's not like they're trying to make it serious. I mean, R-Truth lost the title and then regained it on a golf course. Like, come on. And which I thought was brilliant. It was so comical.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the
point.
best thing they have going right now.
And that's
on either show. It's like, hey, what's going to happen tonight? Because you don't know what's going to happen.
I wouldn't say the best. I wouldn't say the best.
What's the best?
Firefly Funhouse. 100%. I was a hater on it at first. I was like, what is this crap?
Well, I know you and I went back and forth in text messages saying, what in the hell is going on?
Because I was concerned they were just ruining Bray Wyatt. That was my fear. But how long has it been? A month now? Over a month with these vignettes and just seeing his creativity and his freedom with this is refreshing. Say what you want about Vince, but just Bray having this opportunity to create whatever this is going to be is fascinating. And that's what I look forward to every Monday.
But Bray was fascinating before.
Absolutely.
Yes, but he had died down.
He was probably one of my favorites.
His character had become stale in a way.
Well, because they didn't give him anything to do with it.
But that's my point.
They stuck him with Matt Hardy.
How many times have we said over the years that Bray Wyatt was the best character that they had going?
100%. I think
the whole time.
It was the only character they had going.
The only true character, sure. But you know what? Again, let's talk in-ring ability, mic skills, character development. I mean, he was amazing, and I think he's going to be amazing again with it. I just hope they just take the reins off a little bit.
We got to get it there.
Yeah, but this is another one of those things where they don't need to rush this. We don't need to see Bray in the ring next week. They can drag this on for another month or two. And I think they should.
That's one of those things that leaves everybody in suspense. And when are you going to see Bray?
It's the only thing they have right now that leaves anybody in suspense.
Other than
the 24/7 title.
Well, that and Lesnar's Money in the Bank.
Well, he's cashing that in tomorrow on Kofi or Dolph.
Yeah. So that
we've covered that already.
That. On to the next. So Bray is the only thing according to
He's going to walk in and he's going to walk out that gate. with the WWE title.
But then next year he could be in the Andre the Jordan Battle Royal, so you never know. You never know. There's just so many possibilities in this world.
Oh, goodness. Who invited you? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's talk a little AEW. I'm tired of talking about WWE because I feel like we've been a whole lot of negative with a little bit of positive in there.
Because it's a whole lot of negative here lately.
That's a good point. Smokey, you want to take this one?
AEW's Fighter Fest on June 25th. With Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Pentagon Jr., Phoenix,
And who knows? We don't know.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they just put on a hell of a show a couple weeks ago. So,
Right.
Are they going to create even more momentum, or are they going to have a show that just kind of keeps the momentum going?
I think that's what this one's going to be. I'm actually surprised they're having this one.
Is this the come down match?
I think so, and I don't think this needs to be what Double or Nothing was. I think this can just be a good quality show, nothing crazy happening until All Out, which is going to be in August, I believe. I think this is just a placeholder pay-per-view.
You know what
for
I
them.
think?
So this is like their version of Backlash. Is that
Essentially,
what you're saying?
yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those things where... So, they had their show. WWE has done nothing to even acknowledge that they had that show.
For AEW's Double or Nothing?
Yep.
Well, they mentioned AEW on Raw, but, I mean, what do you really expect them to do?
Right. So I think they're like, okay, well, not really taking a whole lot of notice. More fuel on the fire. Add on to it. And then...
I think they're going to just keep building until All Out. I think All Out is going to be a phenomenal show, and then they're going to be just geared towards their weekly show on TNT. I think that's their main focus right now. They're going to crown their champion at All Out. This Fighter Fest is just a show just to have a show in Jacksonville. Say they had it, hometown crowd, all that good stuff. Like a feel good, like tomorrow's show. Nowhere near as horrible lineup-wise and everything, but just a holdover. And then on to their WrestleMania, which is All Out.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I still think this is going to be an NXT Takeover quality pay-per-view.
Right.
I do. I like I said, this is their come down show. This is their backlash, but I still think that they're going to go out and knock it out of the park. You know, I feel like if they were to go out and put on events like Double or Nothing every single time, by the time we get to the fall and their weekly show begins, I feel like they may be screwing themselves a little bit, because then every single week that show is on, everybody's going to expect pay-per-view quality. So I think if they go out every single time that they do a pay-per-view and just absolutely blow it out of the water, to where the only thing that we can sit and talk about is how amazing that show was, and did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? I think that would lead to disappointment in the fall. So I think they've got to leave a little bit of room to come out on the weekly show and blow that out of the water.
Right.
And real quick, what do you guys think about them crowning their champion at All Out instead of on the debut episode for their TV show? Do you think they should have waited, or maybe?
No, I think you got to have a face for the TV show.
You gotta have
Or do you think? Well, they could have done a tournament or something and not done the Battle Royal and the stipulation with Chris and Kenny's match. Do you think they did the right thing in this situation, or they could have drawn that out a little bit? Because they're gonna want to know and get good ratings. They're gonna want to have something to build towards each week. So
yeah.
Because after them, what do you? I mean, they're gonna have secondary titles, I'm sure. Tag team, of course, a women's title.
Oh yeah.
So, but is that the only thing they're gonna be building towards?
Well, no, I think they wanted to come out at Double or Nothing and just annihilate everything, and they did.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you go ahead and crown your top guy right then and there.
Okay.
Who is your top guy now?
Okay.
Like, who's it going to be? I think you go ahead and do that, and there's plenty of time to build that, any angle with that, because now you have people chasing not just a title. Now you have someone with a title with a target on their back.
For somebody to go after.
Right. Yeah, and all the other ones, we can figure out as we go.
Right on.
So, John Moxley is going to get Joey Janela. Thoughts, questions, comments?
It'll be a good match.
Yeah.
It'll be a solid match.
I feel like we know what we're going to get from John Moxley.
Oh, yeah.
That's yeah.
Maybe better.
I think if I were going to go the maybe better route, I would probably change it to more inspired. A little more enthused to be in the ring.
Right.
You know, he may actually look like he's enjoying it. Versus, oh, God. Here we go. You know? Mm-hmm. So, I agree. I think we're going to see a better version of him. Cody versus Darby Allin.
Honestly, I'm not really familiar with Darby Allin, so I can't really comment too much. But I think Cody is a solid in-ring worker, so I think it'd be a good match.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing
I think again, I said it a minute ago. I think it's gonna be NXT quality.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Takeover quality. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's going to be a bad match. You know, I think it's going to be an exciting show to watch. I don't think it's going to be predictable.
Yeah, right.
You know, which to me, that's what I love about NXT in these shows. Is I don't know. No matter how long the match goes, the first 5 minutes I think, oh, he's going to get it or she's got it.
Or you can always tell when it's a commercial.
It switches. It goes back and forth
8
million times. Right. So I think it's going to be extremely unpredictable. I think it's going to be a great show. I don't think they're purposely going to go out and try and make it their best show.
And as they shouldn't. Not with this one.
Right. So we do have a hardcore match that night, though. Now, when's the last time you guys saw an actual hardcore match that was labeled as such?
Could not even tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't
A
tell you the last
proper
time.
one?
A proper one.
Probably TNA.
Okay, do you remember who it was?
They had quite a few. A lot of them had Abyss in it.
Yeah. And like I said, the reason I asked if you remembered who it was because it's been a while.
Right.
I didn't expect you to remember. It's been that long
Right.
since there's really been a match that was labeled a hardcore match and was actually any good. So Michael Nakazawa is going to take on Jabali in this hardcore match. So I'm not overly familiar with either one of those two.
Me either.
So it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I'm sure we'll be sitting and watching, and hopefully it delivers. And I don't think in any way, shape, or form that it won't deliver. All right. Any questions or comments before we move into the last segment here?
Nope.
All right. So, got a little trivia for you guys.
Great.
Being as, you know, you were talking about championships earlier.
Mm-hmm. As the longest reigning champion in this round.
Being as I am the 4-time defending trivia champion on this show.
All right.
I will be taking the night off
Oh,
to ask the questions.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you wasn't going to win anyway.
Oh, okay. Well,
all right. So, it's going to be A Man versus Smokey Z.
All right.
Smokey's 0 for 4 here. So, you know, I think.
So it makes it even worse if I lose.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Is
what you're saying.
Even the stat guy's nodding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No pressure.
All right. Multiple choice. Are you guys ready?
I guess. What do we have like?
No, you don't have a buzzer.
It's just like a time frame. Like when these questions are from. Is it like current, back in the 90s?
How about it's all over the place?
All right.
You know, and
Do you even listen to the show?
I haven't in a while. To be honest, I've been busy.
she can't get off her own phone.
I can't.
That's what it is.
I haven't listened to anything, so it's not just
Excuses.
you guys. Yeah, I mean it's the truth. I've been.
Smokey, if you lose, nothing.
I'm trying not to.
I'm not
lose.
even going there. All right, here we go. Question 1. When you know it, just answer. There's no buzzers.
Okay.
There's no timers in.
blurt it out.
Just blurt it
All right.
out. Which wrestler has regularly faced crowd chants of Goldberg during his matches due to perceived similarity between him and Bill Goldberg? Is it?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You can go ahead and answer if you think you got it.
Ryback?
Smokey, do you want all 4 choices? Or
Go ahead.
is it Batista, Lesnar, Sheamus, or Ryback?
Ryback.
It is indeed Ryback.
That's one for A Man on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Well, that's one for both of you, so don't get excited yet. See, we're winners here. We don't celebrate ties. All right, question 2. Who holds the record for the longest WWE championship reign?
CM Punk.
You might want to wait. Is that your final answer? Okay. Is it? You going there?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want all 4?
Sure.
Is it the Ultimate Warrior? Is it Bob Backlund? Is it Hulk Hogan? Or is it Bruno Sammartino?
Bruno Sammartino. He was champion for like 5 years, right? Something ridiculous. 5, right? Yeah.
Well,
Tommy T says yes. I know.
And CM Punk was also like the most recent longest reigning champion.
Yeah, but not of all time.
If I was Alex Trebek, I would kick you out. You'd be off the show. Bruno held this title for 7 years,
7 years.
8 months, and 1 day, to be exact.
Impressive.
So,
Okay.
So A Man goes up.
A Man goes up.
Woo.
2-1 lead.
That's right.
That question, I think Smokey was trying to pay homage to that championship poster of CM Punk hanging in Tommy T's living room.
I had to give him props for his favorite wrestler over here.
I almost wore his shirt, but I decided.
You should
not
have
to.
taped your hands like his and drawn the X's on them. That'd have been pretty awesome.
Next time.
Okay, question 3. To whom did the Honky Tonk Man lose his Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam 1988 in only 31 seconds? Was it, remember these are multiple choice, A, the Ultimate Warrior, B, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, C, Hulk Hogan, or D, the Macho Man?
What was the first one?
Ultimate Warrior.
1988, you said?
1988, 31 seconds.
Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah, that's my pick as well.
That is correct. Still a 1-up lead for A Man.
Because I'm a true champion.
Good Lord, people. Number 4, making his debut in 1987. By what name was the bodyguard of the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase known? Was it Virgil, Max, Sammy, or Wesley?
Virgil.
Virgil.
If one of y'all had missed that, I was stopping the game and kicking everybody out.
He was going to say Max.
I was kicking everybody out. For those of you who are listening or who are going to hear the show, I did not write these questions. All right, number 5. Which wrestler of the 80s and 90s had a finishing move known as the Ghetto Blaster? Was it Bad News Brown, Junkyard Dog, the One Man Gang, or Akeem?
The One Man Gang.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well.
It was Bad News Brown.
Okay.
So there would not be a point awarded on either side.
Yeah.
Number 6. Who did Hulk Hogan win his only WWE Tag Team Championship with? Was it Brutus Beefcake, the Macho Man, Edge, or the Ultimate Warrior?
Is it the Macho Man?
Edge.
It is Edge.
2002?
Did
Did we get bonus points?
I don't remember that.
I do.
It was on
I do remember
SmackDown.
that one. Yes, it was 2002.
Around July 4th?
Nice job.
Thanks.
Yep, somewhere in there, yeah.
Right on.
Nice.
Thanks.
It's your only compliment.
Yeah, I don't.
Don't
I'll
push
take
it. Don't push it.
At least we have it on record that it's out there.
Let's see. Did I give you a point for that one?
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
All right. Smokey, you got some catching up to do,
Yeah, I
man.
know.
You're 2 down.
Mm.
2 down.
Sad.
All right. The only match The Undertaker has won via disqualification at WrestleMania was against which opponent? Psycho Sid, Big Boss Man, Junkyard Dog, or Giant Gonzalez? I can smell the wheels turning in here.
Can you give me the choices one more time? I'm sorry.
I was singing the Jeopardy theme
I
song.
got
I'm going to
that.
need you not to interrupt me.
Okay.
It's Psycho Sid, Big Boss Man, Junkyard Dog, or Giant Gonzalez.
Is it Big Boss Man?
I'm gonna go Giant Gonzalez.
It is Giant Gonzalez. Look, you don't have a whole lot of ass to whoop here, so you might want to hold on to something. Because she's kicking it pretty hard.
Pretty much. It's what I do.
More than you do.
You know what? We're good sports in here.
Oh.
And we will not
double
tolerate
K.
any trash talk. Back and forth.
Double K. You put a hat on and you're just this different guy. Double K.
Our statistician looks horribly confused, and
He
I do
is.
not know for which
He is.
that look is coming. I don't know what's going on.
Couldn't tell you.
There's a reason his jaw's wired shut.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 1 was held at which venue? The Rosemont Horizon, Silverdome, Trump Plaza, or Madison Square Garden? Are we laughing at Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna answer? Smokey
Is it
C?
MSG?
Yeah. Madison Square Garden.
Yep, it was. Hey, all right.
You got a point.
Smokey got a point, but made up no ground. All right. Well, officially, Smokey, you cannot win. You can draw to within 1. There's only 2 questions to go, and you're down by 3.
It's unfortunate.
All right.
But yeah, you guys should be used to losing to me, so it's fine. Continue. Did I say anything?
You
that
lost
was
to
untrue?
everybody though this past time, so.
Oh, once in how long?
I'm going to hit you with a delay of game and take a point.
That's fine. I'll still be winning. So.
Yeah, but then he could tie it.
I'll take 2 points for her being late.
Do you want to throw the challenge flag here or what? Throw your vape at her.
Bring it.
All right. These are just for fun now. Who was the first person to officially break the master lock of Chris Masters? Was it Bobby Lashley, Dave Finlay, Mark Henry, or Kane?
So Bobby Lashley.
God, I remember that challenge because it was.
I didn't ask you if you remembered it. I asked you who it was.
Did I ask you for your opinion? I didn't think so. But you can give me the choices one more time.
Bobby Lashley, Dave Finlay, Mark Henry, or Kane?
I'm gonna go Kane.
It was Bobby Lashley.
I didn't think he was around that time.
Well, at least you got the 5. There you go. All right.
Aw.
All
take
right,
a
last
second point.
one. Who did Hulk Hogan beat to capture his first WWF championship from? Was it The Undertaker, The Iron Sheik, Bob Backlund, or Andre the Giant? I know this one, so I'm just going to put that down.
So Andre the Giant.
I want to say Andre the Giant because obviously WrestleMania 3, but I don't think that was his first one. What are the choices again?
The Undertaker, Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant, or Bob Backlund?
Bob Backlund?
It was the Iron Sheik.
Oh, and I was going to say him too.
Yep.
Curses.
So by a total of 7 to
Seven's a good
5.
number.
7 is a good number.
I like
It's a good
7.
number. A Man has come around and put one on Smokey Z this evening. So, A Mann, congratulations. And
Double K.
thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Double
Smokey.
K.
Yeah, you know what? You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Maybe we'll have you back
It's
again.
been a splendid time.
We're gonna next
Maybe
time
next
though.
time
We're
she
gonna
won't
tell
be
you that
late.
we start at
Maybe
7:30.
next time you'll actually win.
Why don't you show up on time?
What is it? You're 0-5 now, Rick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically
okay.
on 5.
I came in right off the bat and won, so there's that.
Well, you didn't come in right off the bat. You were 40 minutes late.
And I still
So
delivered. So it's
Anyway.
amazing. I guess I am truly Brock Lesnar, you know?
you know what? I'm gonna put our listeners out of our misery now and thank them for listening tonight. Next time that we come to you, Tommy T should be back up in action. And so we'll have, the original crew back. But, guys, thanks again. Enjoyed the show. And so we'll see you guys the next time the bell tolls.
See you later.